I mean, that's what preordain's good for. Now, what do you see on the bottom side of the screen here for Magic the Ametrine?
I believe the girls took a mulligan. Like, I'm not seeing... It looks like they have a Dismember in hand that wasn't there before, and also a Cloud Post that wasn't there before.
Does seem to be the case.
So they must not have liked their opening hand. It wasn't a bad hand. So they do have Dismember in hand, which they can use to nab that Blighted Agent.
That's a big deal. Like, killing the first threat that Paul can put out is a really big part of the game plan here for Magic the Ametrine. And they're not running a whole lot in the way of interaction, but Dismember is one of the cards that they have that can actually get in there and kill it.
Yeah, and Paul's version of Infect seems to have it seems to be more, eggs in their basket than normal Modern Infect. Like, Modern Infect typically has, Inkmoth, Nexus, Glistener, Elf, and Blighted Agent. Paul's literally just running Blighted Agent. Like, so his plan is to and he does have Inkmoth Nexus as well, but he doesn't have as many win conditions. And so if the girls are able to dismember them, he could be left hanging if he can't find another one.
Yeah, and the interesting dynamic that we're going to see here, Aaron, is Paul is trying to set up exactly how you just described. Magic the Ametrine is trying to interact how you just described. But here's the cool part. If Paul isn't under any pressure, he can sit there and build up his hand so that he has the right counterspell, like a Muddle the Mixture, or maybe even a Spell Pierce if the mana works out right. And he can do that. Now, it looks like he feels like he is under pressure here, and he's just going to run the Blighted Agent out, and he is going to get punished. It is going to die to the Dismember, and we could have a decently long game here now.
Yeah. So the girls drew a Primeval Titan, a little far away from casting it, but
they're getting pretty close. Like, they can fire off the Dismember, they can crack the Expedition map, they can play the Cloud Post. Like, it's getting kind of ugly here.
Yeah, and little do they know, Paul has no recourse. So Peer Through Depths can get him another instant or sorcery, but he has nothing in his hand that can help him get another creature. Just drew a third Peer Through Depths. So if that Blighted Agent goes, he's basically in top deck mode.
But MTA is taking a big risk here. They did not fire off the Dismember while the shields were down for Paul while he was tapped out, and now he may be able to craft a game plan.
Yeah.
Around, keeping his Blighted Agent alive or not going all in on the shoal or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They may be waiting to try to kill it in response.
I know. That's risky, right? Like, sometimes you can get them and, like, their Blazing Shoal dies and, you just blow them out. But, man, the times when they go... Because remember, Blazing Shoal doesn't cost mana.
And he just hit.
He just hit the Blasphemous Act off of the Peer Through Depths. Now... The thing is, he could just go for it, and he might actually just assume, hey, if they had a removal spell, they would have used it because they wouldn't have taken this risk. But they did, and they actually may be rewarded for it. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I know in Modern, in fact, you typically, once they have at least one land out, you have to worry about Apostle's Blessing, but I don't believe Paul's running that.
Right. And what Paul does have is Muddle the Mixture in his hand that he can use to protect it, but he's 1 mana short currently. So this is a huge decision point for Paul on, does he go for the Infect kill? Remember, this would end the game if it worked. Paul is like, he's like, I could just end the game immediately. No other cards get cast. We just go to game 2. But if it doesn't work, his backup plan is not looking great. Like, he needs to find himself another Infect creature, and he also needs to find himself another shoal, and it's going to take a while for that to happen. But he's doing it. He's moving in.
All right.
Oh, man.
And the girls are saying, no, sir.
Oh, what a blowout.
So he lost the Blasphemous Act, the shoal, and the Blighted Agent from that one Dismember. That's a good play.
And he also has no threat left over.
Yep. And the girls have enough to crack their own map.
Yep. So, like I said, I think that was risky for Magic the Ametrine, but boy, did it pay off for them. They are so far ahead now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a blowout. That was savage.
Yeah, this deck is very, like I said, it tends to put all of its eggs in one basket. Also doesn't run a lot of the Vines of Vastwood is another card that Modern Infect likes to rely on, and this deck does not run that either.
No, it favors blue cards like Spell Pierce and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So they've got the Mirror, and then they've got the Sylvan Scrying. They seem like they're on track for a turn 6 Primeval Titan.
Yeah, maybe even a turn early.
Yeah, there's 2 locusts, so 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
They're a mana short currently.
And we talked about how MTA doesn't have many things to deal with a fast deck like Infect, how they were lacking Pyroclasm. But looking at Paul's list as well, he doesn't have much to deal with the Primeval Titans. So.
No, like yeah, we said that in the beginning that Magic the Amateure's deck gets to go over the top, and oh boy, does it! They're going to start casting some absolutely absurd things starting with next turn. A little unfortunate for them that they happen to be playing the Infect deck of all the attack you with a creature decks. They ended up with the one that doesn't really care about life gain that much because this deck can put a lot of life up on the table as well. But whatever, they can still get Eye of Ugin, get more posts. Of course, I'm talking about the Primeval Titan here, and set themselves up to start casting Eldrazi every turn. And things don't get better from there for if you're in Paul Cheon's seat.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud Post, that's it.
Yeah, you can take a look at Cloud Post there.
Girls just they fetched an Eye of Ugin with their Sylvan Scrying.
Yep.
Paul's going to dig through time. Dig through time. Remember that card?
Oh, yeah.
Gone too soon.
Oh, man. It was so bummer when, I mentioned this in the pregame, Aaron, but I was like, I'm going to play a Jace deck. I get to play Dig, and I get to play, Treasure Cruise and Preordain and Ponder, and I was just like, this is going to be the best. And then when it kind of sunk in that was a little slow and wasn't really getting me where I wanted to go, it was like a single blue tear fell. And
yeah, there was somebody in my local game store that heard this, and he's like, "You guys going to play Splinter Twin?" And I just wanted to pat him on the head and be like, "Bless your heart." That's
cute
adorable.
little guy.
Oh, okay.
Did you tell him we don't play fair decks?
No.
All right, so here comes Primeval Titan. Cheon did find another Blighted Agent, though, Aaron, with that last dig through time. So he already has the Blasphemous Act and the Blighted Agent. Next turn, he gets to play Blighted Agent. And
he has 2 copies of Peer Through Depths that he can use to try to find the Blazing Shoal, too.
So he is not done yet.
No.
Magic the Amateurean is going to have to... I think it's going to be... I don't think they're going to be able to kill Paul next turn. So Paul, he's drawing life here. He really is. He found a Spell Pierce. Not really what he wanted to see there, I suppose. But yeah, he's going to play a Blighted Agent, and all he needs to do is find a Blazing Shoal. And if Magic the Amateurean doesn't have a way to interact, which it doesn't look like they're going to have here. See, they're not quite at search up and cast a big Eldrazi mode, I would assume. Maybe they are. 19.
2, 4, 6, 8.
Actually, they might be. They have, let's see, 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19 mana producing lands. Oh, hold on a minute. They have even more than that. You know what? They could just win this turn after all. This is insane. Let's see what they do. This is exciting.
Too much mana. And
So those Cloud Posts tap. Now they went and got 2 Glimmer Posts as well.
And those give you 1 for each locust, correct?
Yes.
So each of those Cloud Posts is capable of making 4 mana.
So as you can see, they tapped 4 lands, and now they're activating Eye of Ugin.
Okay, so each locust can generate 6 mana.
So they went and got Ulamog. Yeah,
There's Ulamog.
Exactly. Each one makes 6. So,
and they're going for it.
How about
brutal
ceaseless hunger? And look at that. Paul Cheon just
Oh.
has to scoop him up. Man, I didn't think that Magic the Amateurean was going to be able to finish him off that turn, but boy, was I wrong. Turns out when you have 27 mana or whatever at your disposal, you can finish off the game in short order. So, wow, that game was exciting. Man, I can't believe it. They took this big risk. They let Paul, get away with it. And Paul, I think, correctly looked at it and said, gosh, if they had a removal spell, they would have had to have used it, right? Yeah. And they're just sitting over there smiling like, yeah, we would have used it.
Very well played by the girls. So what do we think they're going to bring in? What would you bring in if you were Paul? What would you bring in?
I haven't looked at these sideboards enough. I'm trying to look now. Let's see here.
If I were the girls.
Wow, Paul had a quick plan. He's already submitted.
Whoa, hello. So MTA is packing 4 Graph Digger's Cage, 1 Hedron alignment. Look at that. 4 Nature's Claim,
that
2
doing
Torpor Orb, 2 Ugin, a Void Winnower, and a World Breaker. Nothing really stands out to me.
Is the human alignment just for like Eldrazi flavor purposes? Like, why is that in there?
It's just because they're beautiful souls. That's why.
I mean, I love it. I played that deck, in the build arounds for standard, but that's pretty sweet.
I mean, I really don't see anything that jumps out at me. I mean, Torpor Orb is not great here. Nature's Claim, nothing's popping out at me.
No, I think they're going to have to just get Paul again.
Yeah. But then again, with the deck like 12 Post, I'm inclined to just run it back again. If it did that well, don't change a thing or change very little.
Yeah.
So the girls have a Chromatic Sphere, Cloud Post, green-white. It's okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad hand, right? Like,
yeah,
you're leaning on that sphere to find you something because, they mulligan it. They just
so did Paul.
Good enough, Oh, and Paul did too.
Yeah. Paul's on 2 probes.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to spin the wheel here.
Ponder.
He's got Ponder and double Gitaxian Probe. I think he's not going to worry about his life total too terribly against this Post-Eldrazi deck. So I think he can feel okay just like cycling both of the probes, playing a Ponder, and just trying to set up to find a Blighted Agent or a...
I wonder how good it feels to cast a Ponder when you've done nothing but cast Serum Visions for most of your life. Like,
yeah, the real one is Preordain. Right?
Preordain, yeah.
Like, so I played Preordain when it was in Standard, and I played it when it was in Modern for a bit, very short bit.
Yeah.
And then I had never played Serum Visions before, and I'm like, what? And it became the default best, single blue mana cantrip type card. And I started playing it, and I was like, this doesn't feel nearly as good as Preordain does. It's just like, I have to draw the card now? But
it's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and they have the generic bagged cereal where, like, you can get Cinnamon Toast Crunch or you can get Cinnamon Squares. And it's like, you'll eat them, but you're not happy about it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, man. Non-fat milk, the whole thing. All right, so it looks like Paul found a Blazing Shoal. Wow. And an Inkmoth Nexus.
That's a thing.
This hand got a lot more interesting. Wow. Look at this. He's got the combo assembled. Now he can't do it next turn because the Inkmoth will have Summoning Sickness, but the turn after that he is presenting a lethal threat.
The girls have no removal, but there is a possibility they could try to Thought Knot something, but it might be too late.
It very well may be too late. Yeah. So Paul's going to pass the turn to leave up Spell Pierce here in case Magic the Ameturine goes for something like, a Sylvan Scrying or something like that.
Even the Green Sun he could counter if he's feeling threatened.
He's going to counter basically anything I think that they play this turn that can be Spell Pierced. He will Spell Pierce it. And that should be game. Like,
would you have Spell Pierced the Green Sun if they went for that?
Yes. I would Spell Pierce anything I could. Okay. And then now they're tapped out. GG. It looks like he let it resolve because he knew that it wouldn't matter. But that's game. Like, I guess what he's doing now is like digging for pack to play around like Gut Shot. Mm-hmm. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about going like cards that he doesn't even know are in the deck, and he has one of in his deck. Like, that's the luxury that Paul has from this position because he's attacking for 10 poison right now. Yeah. Game.
That's
wow. Turn 3 win for Paul Cheon. So he says, look, I was impressed. You did some cool things, but watch this.
That was scary. My heart literally skipped a beat. I was just like, he doesn't have it. Wow, that's scary stuff.
And it's funny because, like, think back to his keep, right? Taxium Probes, which were like unknown cards. He got to, you can pay 2 life to look at your opponent's hand and draw a card. So he does that twice, so those replace itself, and he plays a Ponder, and he just finds everything he needs, even though he didn't have any of it when he started.
It's a testament to the power of Ponder, man.
Yeah.
Another slow start for the girls. Expedition Map, Cloud Post.
Ooh, look what Paul brought in out of the board.
Blood Moon.
Blood Moon against the Post-Eldrazi deck. Oof. Oh, man, Paul's mean. He's mean. Similar start too, by the way. He's going to get to cycle the Gitaxian Probe, Crackle Land, and play a Ponder. He's got a backup Ponder as well.
But there are just certain decks that when you agree to play them, you throw niceties out the window where you're like, I'm not really here to be liked. I'm playing Dredge. Let's
And
be
we were
honest.
instructed to throw niceties out the week
Yeah.
this week too. This is no fun.
Yeah,
Did
no,
you say
we're
you're
not here
playing
for that.
Dredge? Interesting.
No, I said when I'm playing Dredge.
Because I thought I heard you say I'm playing Dredge, and so it made me
No.
think that maybe you might be playing Dredge.
No, I'm just saying it's like, there are just certain decks like Belcher too. Like there are just certain decks that when you
Yes.
suit up or you pick up that mantle, you kind of agree that you're just going to be the enemy, and we're fine with that.
I fully support it. In fact.
Another Cloud Post for the girls.
Yeah, interesting choice here. They can play an untapped brush land to play Sylvan Scrying, or they can get the second Cloud Post down, which is going to set them up for Thought Knot next turn, guaranteed. Maybe they can set that up anyway. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
Paul does know what they have in their hand. Outside of that last Cloud Post, his deck not super interactive. We saw he could have Spell Pierce. He decided to peer through depths. That's about the most we've seen. Same thing on the other side, Magic the Ametrine. They used a Dismember in game 1 to basically win the game, but they don't always get to.
Yeah, they grabbed an Eldrazi Temple with their Sylvan Scrying.
So they are setting up for the turn 3 Thought Knot Seer, so that makes sense.
So if you're the girls, I'm assuming you just take the Blood Moon.
Yes, that's what I would assume too. Looking at their hand, they've got a Reality Smasher to follow it up. If Paul plays the Blood Moon, he still has to find a way to deal with a Thought Knot. But I mean, the difference between take 4 a turn and take 9 a turn is going to be 3 turns off the clock or something, and they're going to just have him dead almost immediately. So yeah, Paul's in trouble.
Yeah. It's the testament to Paul's deck when he might even have a difficult time dealing with the Reality Smasher. We were talking about the big things that they're capable of, like Primeval Titan is scary, Ulamog is scary, Ugin scary, but even a Reality Smasher, like that's something I've come to realize is that card alone can be a very difficult to deal with threat.
No, you're totally right. And look, Magic the Ametrine is setting up for, turn 3 Thought Knot Seer, turn 4 Reality Smasher. Like,
Blazing Shoal.
Even in no banless modern, that's a hand.
Well, they're making waves in Eldrazi now, or in Legacy now. Eldrazi's in the Legacy Gauntlet. It has made such an impact that it's made its way into the Gauntlet with decks like Storm and Sneak and Show. It's a big deal.
And here we go. This is the key moment in the game. This Thought Knot Seer is going to be able to take away the Blood Moon, which is, I'm assuming, what they're going to take, and set them up to keep casting Reality Smasher into Reality Smasher. And when they see Paul's hand, he has nothing.
They're going to look at his hand. They're going to look at his hand and say, I'm glad you came too.
Because he has nothing. He's got Ponder to help him find stuff. He's got Peer Through Depths ×2 to help him find stuff. He's got Dig Through Time to help him find stuff. Otherwise, he has a Blazing Shoal with no creatures in sight.
Well, you have to ask yourself what he's going to find, too, where it's like you have Dig Through Time, you have Ponder, that's cute. What can you possibly find that can deal with 2 Reality Smashers and a Thought Knot? I mean...
My guess is nothing.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I'm not 100%, but that is my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're set up for Thought Knot or for Reality Smasher next turn. They can play that Cloud Post, tap the other one for 2, tap the Temple for 2, and then tap the Brushland for 1, and then bam, take 9. And then that puts Paul at a 1-turn clock without the other Reality Smasher. So yeah, this is
this is definitely one of those decks where you're starting to... I think this is a good example of, we talked about being able to see the impact of cards. And, we saw last game what Ponder can do for you. And now we're seeing the power of the Eldrazi lands for people who might have missed that. Eldrazi Temple and, the Cloud Posts and things like that. And this is just a good example of what you can do in this format.
Yeah, I think another thing we should point out here, Aaron, I think it's something for the viewers to take a look at as they go through the night, is play and draw is very important in no banless modern.
Yes.
By the way, they did take the Blood Moon.
Paul drawing a Teleria West.
Kind of game. I don't want to call him dead yet, but...
I'll call him dead. It's fine.
How does he... not having commentated this matchup before, it's hard for me to, put the nails in the coffin, but I don't see a way for him to get out of this.
So Paul's going to put on his thinking cap and try to Ponder his way out of this.
I mean, maybe if he goes, if he finds a Blighted Agent right now, he can go untap Steam Vents, play Blighted Agent, go. Then, okay, he did. He found an Ink Moth. So now, if he can find, and he's going to have he's going to have a Dig Through Time to try to find a Blasphemous Act, and he could win this game. So
He could peer
He's
through
gonna
depths as well.
Yeah, he's going to peer through depths on their end step. Again, digging for a Blasphemous Act. And then on his main phase, he can fire off Dig Through Time. And maybe even something else, depending on if he has like a Ponder off the top or something like that. And if he finds a Blasphemous Act, it looks like Magic the Amateurin has no interaction at all this game outside of that Thought Knot, and he can steal this game back.
Well, he needs to because he'll be dead next turn if he does nothing else.
Totally. He's down to 8. Wow,
caring.
let's see if he finds it. This is exciting. This match has been awesome. He's thinking. It's a Ponder.
Keep thinking, Paul. Keep thinking.
Ponder's actually not bad, though, because he can Ponder and then dig as well next turn.
Yeah.
So he's going to see a lot of cards.
Spell Skype.
He hasn't seen their hand in a while, and he could be concerned about another Dismember, though I don't think there's a way for him to... He really wants to cast Dig to give him the maximum chance to find Blasphemous Act that he can pitch to that Blazing Shoal. So I think he's just going to have to take that risk. I'm just kind of talking it through here, but it looks like he wants to go Ponder. If he finds it, then great. He can play Spellskite, and then... Actually, he still can't play Spellskite. Yeah, Spellskite.
He's just going to dig. He's going to dig.
He's going to start by digging. All right, here we go. This is huge. If he finds Blasphemous Act, he will win this game. If he does not, he's dead.
7 cards is a lot.
He's got an untapped mana that he can use to activate his Ink Moth. I'm still talking through this turn, by the way. And that's what he's going to need to do. So if he finds it, he goes Steam Vents, go to 6, activate Ink Moth, combo kill you. If he doesn't, he extends the hand and Match the Amateurin will win this game. He has seen a lot of cards here.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the downside of running all these cheap cantrips. You know, when Hallie and I were testing, she was playing Delver, and she was pondering, she was preordaining, and sometimes she just wasn't able to find her silver bullet. And again, we talk about being able to dig, but what are you looking for when you do? Sometimes you really just don't find things. There have been times I've dredged in Legacy, I've dredged 3/4 of my deck and not seen a bridge from below. Like sometimes variance just hits you.
Yeah. He's pausing for a very long time.
He's looking,
which makes me think that he hasn't found it.
No, because you think if he had it, he would have just snap grabbed it.
I think he just would have immediately grabbed it, Aaron. Paul would have been the type to be like, "Oh, we did it."
If it was Kenji, I would say he's putting on a show where he
would
has
have been
it
typing something on a chat box to put in front of his hand that said, "Yes, Kenji, yes." Yeah, it's always a show with that guy.
So he could he could shock the Steam Vent. That's a Steam Vents, yeah?
It is a Steam Vents, yes.
So shock Ponder as a... he's dead anyway next turn.
Right, and see, the thing that I was trying to fit in but never could is that, he needs a mana to activate the Ink Moth. So that Steam Vents is effectively locked up as a mana source if he were to win the game this turn.
He grabbed a Preordain.
Okay.
It's bad when he grabbed the Preordain.
That's not it.
This isn't looking good. Come on, Paul.
He's thinking really hard, yet he's also facing lethal.
Yeah, he doesn't have many.
Now maybe there's a combination. No, I think it was a muddle, the mixture.
Grabbed a muddle and a Preordain. That's game.
So I think his plan now is, I guess we're just going to see right here. He's going to play Spellskite. He can use that to soak up 4 damage, but that the second copy of Reality Smasher is going to be enough to get the job done for Magic the Amateurin. They're going to win this match.
I did not expect them to win this.
I did not either. The matchup didn't look good. Their deck is obviously super
There's a World Breaker.
And there's a World Breaker, but I don't think they need it.
No.
Wow. Post-Eldrazi is going to defeat Blazing Infect by just rumbling with a bunch of huge creatures. And, interestingly, Aaron, we got to see 2 different sides when Magic the Amateurin won, right? This was the 4-drop into 5-drop a few turns early, but in the other game, it was Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger on the same turn that they searched it up with Ayavugan. It was the extreme top end of their deck. So,
yeah,
this is awesome. What a cool deck.
Having flashbacks to Eldrazi Winter, I'm just like, we're here.
All right, they're going for style points, it looks like.
They're taking everything.
World
from
Breaker's
Paul.
going to exile target artifact, in this case, the only blocker for Paul Cheon. and boom. 9 damage is more than 6 life, and Magic the Amateur is going to win that match. Wow, that was insane. What a crazy fun match to watch.
And we're not even, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Like, he's crying as hard as Kyle, as hard as Jake. He is just over there like, I had it. I mean, like, we live for those moments in Magic, right? Where, like, you put that dig through time on the stack and you're like, just the once, right? Just the one time. Let me see that blasphemous act. And, you could tell it took him a while to kind of let it sink in that he whiffed.
Yeah.
That was super fun. Wow, what a crazy match. That was really fun to watch. I hope it stays like this for the whole night, because, like, there's a reasonable chance that some of these matchups are a little bit less interactive. And that was one of them, by the way, that wasn't. You can see that Magic the Ametrine picks up the star there. So congratulations, Megan Maria. I still can't believe that they won that, Aaron, honestly. Like, when you and I did the pregame for this match, and we were both pretty adamant, right? Like, Paul has a huge advantage here in the matchup, and they just stole it. And I keep going back to that game 1 player and the waiting on the dismember. They took on extra risk, but they were rewarded for it, and they won the game as a result.
Yeah, it was definitely very well played, and I'm interested to see what else people bring to the table, because I think this was just a nice sort of appetizer. And
do you anticipate anybody playing Dredge?
What makes you think that I would know anything about that? Like,
I know it's a deck you like, so
I mean, I've dabbled.
Do you think it might be good in no banless Modern?
I do, actually. I've seen Randy Buehler actually did the no banless gauntlet for, I believe, Mock Sporting House, and he had done some videos, and I remember just watching it and looking at it and going, just kind of holding my hands to the sky and being like, this is how Magic should be played, and it was just beautiful. And so I hope somebody does play it tonight, because it's capable of some gross things.
Well, we will see. I think we're going to get set up for our next match now, and that means that we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we're going to have round 2 here from the Community Super League. Don't go anywhere.
Whether riding the bus or waiting for the Pro Tour Finals to begin, Magic Duels is a great way to hone your skills and try new strategies. Featuring hundreds of earnable cards from Magic's latest sets and virtually unlimited AI and online opponents, start playing Magic Duels free today on iPhone, iPad, Xbox One, and Steam.